bring up this whole question of killing and violence, because I think that both of you recognize that last month, during the month of African American History Month, that the IMF, the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance, came out with what they call a moratorium on violence during the month of February, and indeed to continue that moratorium up until there was no violence. Let's talk about that and the things that you think that we might be able to do in order to contribute this morning to that moratorium. I mean, is there any, are there any words of encouragement or anything that we can say that might so enlighten or help people understand that? Let's start with you, Reverend, and then have Ms. Wingfield too.
I feel that we have to teach our kids the value of life, not just one time, not just 1 month. And I think it has to be on a continuous type of thing. The value of life. Life is precious.
Good.
And kids need to understand that you can't go out killing and it as if the person you kill is coming back next week.
Good.
When you kill a person, they're not coming back next week. And we need to let them know life is precious, and that that we need to treat life precious. And then we need to let them know that there's other ways to solve differences. There's other ways to solve conflicts. You don't have to shoot. You don't have to resort to violence on the spur of the moment. You can talk things out, and we need to be with our kids and teach kids these things. But the first thing we have to do is also, again, target parents, and so parents will have a support base that they will be able to relay this information to the kids, that violence is not the way.
Very good.
And, well, conflict resolution is a standardized part of this book, along with family contracts. There is a complete master plan of action. But one of the main reasons that we have for the violence is that our young men are insecure about their manhood, and their egos are inflated, and every time they feel threatened, they feel as if they have to prove their manhood. If you are secure in who you are, you don't have to prove it when somebody steps on your toe by accident. You don't have to shoot them or cut them. And this is one of the things that our young men are under the impression of, and this takes us right back to the standardized definition of manhood, and teaching our young men how to be men. And once they have confidence, I don't think we're going to see the kinds of reaction that we have. The other thing that the Reverend just mentioned was respect for life and creating hope. One of the things about the kids at juvenile court, I've never really had one who was in serious trouble who suffered from too much love.
Good.
All right. Now, I've never had one that had too much love. And a lot of the acts of violence that we see acted out by our kids are basically red flags that these kids have been mistreated, been abused, not been loved properly or accepted. And we as individuals must make sure that we give the basics to each and every child that's born.
You know, we have so many situations where we have absent fathers. I think both of you know well the whole scenario that we get into when we talk about female heads of households and et cetera and et cetera. Now, some people see those things as being detrimental. Some feel that they can be overcome and et cetera. But from a strictly parenting point of view, what does it mean not to have the presence of a male in the household? What impact does this have upon young men, Pastor Hayes, from your perspective? I think you mentioned earlier that when the parents came out to see these young people perform, that there was additional self-esteem and the way they talk about that from that perspective.
One thing that I do want to say, I feel that single mothers, single parents, I think a lot of them do an excellent job.
Very good.
Thank you.
I do want to say that we do need a father involved in the raising of the child. And this is to take nothing away from a single parent, but I think the child, for the balance of the child, for the discipline of the child, for the love of the child, I think, and for respect of both genders, sexes, I think the child needs both parents to be there. He or her needs to know that there's a man that they're close to, that loves them, that is willing to say this is wrong and that's wrong, and that's willing to take time out and go the extra mile with that child. One thing, Doc, I do want to say is I think that in absence of our fathers, we need to make sure that positive role models, males, are involved in children's life. One thing I would encourage, as many African American males who are going to school to major in education, we need teachers. And a teacher is the best role model for this point. A teacher has an opportunity to be with a child a lot. And a lot of our kids need that type of role model from their, I'm talking about from the time they enter first grade, from the time they enter kindergarten. They need to see something positive from their own race.
Yes, they do. And now, before we run out of time, I want to make sure folks know that you can get this book at Akibalon Images on Jefferson, Winston, Derrick, and Tower
Very
Books.
good.
But I wanted to comment on the single mothers. Many fine men have been raised by single mothers. Many fine mothers.
Very good.
And I uphold a woman's right to fulfill herself through motherhood, and I don't think that needs to be based on a financial criteria or standard set up by the state or anyone else.
Good.
The book, one of the things that was designed in there was for any single mother to be able to take this and pass on the values of African American men to her child if there was no man present, where she could say, this is not just me talking to you, but this is what the positive African American men of your culture have said and uphold as a role model.
It's designed to sort of be a study book, a study guide to allow her to sort of travel with the...
And the symbol on the front is not just any made-up symbol. Basically what that is, on page 25, that can be Xerox, and kids can begin to color that at age 2 as they learn language. And each one of the symbols stands for a positive value that will always be associated with that value.
And so when we talk about values in school, or values, period, that you have here a collection of things that would be classified as values.
Well, the values that they're teaching in school, Metro has a very good values program, but unfortunately they can't talk about spirituality or God in Metro schools. The African American community is based on spirituality, and that has to be incorporated and taught in the home and in the community. The triangle in the thing stands for the triangle of duty, honor, respect, and protect. The square stands for the square priorities. Who do you honor, respect, and protect? Our women, our children, and elders, and self.
Okay.
And how? Love, commitment, guidance, time, and support.
Very good. We've got about 30 seconds, Pastor Hayes, before we end it for today, and let's give you an opportunity to make a final comment.
One thing I will say that we at John Wesley, the Methodist men, we are starting a program targeting fathers. Hopefully we can use some of the information in Mr. Wingfield's book to help us start this organization. We want to target fathers, keep fathers in the home.
Very good. Let me thank the two of you for coming by and giving us that excellent information this morning. And let me encourage you to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.